From the 12 News Studios, this is EVB Live.
House hunting with the kids in tow. Sounds like a potential meltdown, but it doesn't have to be. Coming up, we have an expert advice on how to deal with that tricky situation. Welcome back, everybody. It's Wednesday, so it's time to talk real estate. All right, so you're starting the house hunting process. At what point should you include the kiddos in the buying process? Our real estate expert and realtor, Holly Henbest, is here to help us out. All right, Holly, taking the kids along and figuring out what their needs are for the house kind of sounds like my parents may have never done that. They would have just said, this is where you're living and that's it.
Take it or leave it. Exactly. Exactly.
What's tip number one for the folks at home?
Well, I'm going to say I'm not a psychologist. I am a parent and I'm a realtor, so this is just my advice based on my experience with families.
Real world advice.
Exactly.
Okay, very good.
So my tip number one is going to be don't overpromise or make commitments to things that you may not be able to follow through on. All too often when we're showing houses, I'll have a mom or dad there that say, this is the perfect house for our family, but I promised my child a bigger bedroom, or I promised that we'd be able to have a trampoline in the backyard, and this house won't accommodate, so it's out. And meanwhile, as the search continues, they still think back on that house. So I would say make promises you know you can deliver on.
How about the emotional ups and downs of looking for that house?
Yeah, tip number two is definitely be aware of that. For the parents, you're taking a look at making a financial decision as an investment and also a place to raise your family. Kids are looking at it from their point of view solely. So you have to figure out a way to balance the two. They might be thinking about what's important to them in terms of where their friends live or what school they're going to go to or what size their bedroom or yard is. You're thinking about so many more things.
Like price.
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Number one,
exactly.
Right?
And I've seen so many kids get disappointed when the parents have to say, you know, we were stretching our price to take a look at this, but really it's not going to work. And they're like, come on. So it just adds to the parents' own anxiety over the buying process.
How about gauging the level of their patience and manners in dealing with that, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I always say if you trust them with their patience and manners, then maybe bring them along to a select few homes. But if you're concerned about it, maybe it's time to invest in a babysitter. If you're going to spend the whole time you're looking at a house scolding them for not touching things or running around or staying with you, they're going to look at moving as something very negative. If they're going to have a lot of scoldings and timeouts, they're going to just see every time I show up to show them houses that it's not going to be a fun experience for them, and hence not a good experience for the parents. All too often, parents who take their kids to look at houses have to go back and relook because they can't remember anything because they just kept saying, Johnny, don't touch that. Johnny, stay over here. So you might want to pause and take them just to maybe look at the final choice.
Recognize your own stress level that's going to be involved.
Exactly.
That's a big part. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there ways to include them without taking them to see the houses just yet in the early on?
Most definitely, yeah. Something that I recommend is you do want to be honest with them. You don't want it to appear to be a secretive situation that's going on, but maybe have them make a wish list.
Oh, good.
You make a wish list as well and compare the two. And maybe take a look at goals in terms of the home, not in terms of the structure, but in terms of what experiences you're looking forward to having there. You can show them pictures online and talk about family events that you might hold in the house rather than focusing on, again, the size of their bedroom or the backyard. You can also drive them around neighborhoods, check out where they would go to school, where they would go to the park, where they would do activities that they enjoy doing. Again, it always depends on their age, but I would try and keep it as simple as possible and be open and honest with them without oversharing and getting them more anxious about the situation.
And I think, too, that maybe it might be a great way of teaching kids what it takes. I mean, depending obviously on the age, but understanding money and what it takes for buying a home, and maybe some lessons that kids can take later on in their own adult life if they learn early enough.
Absolutely. And I think, too, that's where looking online can be very helpful. You can say, we looked at these 4 houses today, and here's why we decided they're good or not good for us. And here was some of our thought process. And sometimes that's easier than physically taking them to every house, especially right now when it's 110 plus outside.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, Holly, great job. Kids, how about a nice round of applause from Mom? Huh? How about that? See, you don't even have to take them to look for a house. You can take them to the job when you're doing your interviews on TV.
Right.
All right, Holly, great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.